Hello, soul family. I'm still trying to do more of these and get messages out that are coming to me. Um, Probably not the only one having lots of visions coming through. Um, but I wanted to tell you about another interesting thing that happened um, last Friday night. So it's already been over a week. And I was going past NORAD, and I mean, the mountain was just lit up. Probably the most lit up it's ever been that I've ever seen it. And I just went in and I just moved right into this meeting room. And there was several different military suit men. There were about 5, 6 different galactic beings. When I popped into the room, one of the beings, I basically came in behind the suits, and the one that literally was right in front of me, like facing me, looked right at me, and he didn't care. And I'm like, whoa, that's a trip. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to stay in here. And I'm trying to listen. I can feel the energy. I guess the best word to describe it would be discontent. Um, it was tense, but not super intense. The Galactics were expressing they were frustrated because they thought that the agreement was something would happen, and we changed it at the last minute. So they weren't really happy about it, but not this thoroughly upset. It was just this fine, like, I'm just really frustrated energy. And they were talking, the military people were reassuring, that this is still coming. And I know from what I've talked about before that it is some kind of, exposure event is the only way I can describe it. There's so many different beings. I've looked at people's drawings, I've pictures. I mean, they're even the ones that were in the room didn't look like the one I saw in Shriver. The one that looked right at me definitely had, the bigger, darker eyes, the almond-shaped eyes. This particular being was probably only about 6 feet tall, maybe 6.5 feet tall, and had the appendages and, the legs, and kind of standing like this on their toes. And from there, I was able to walk around the room, which was really interesting because I was really trying to look at like their name tags or something that would identify who and what they were, what their rank was, I don't know. I can't tell you like all the colored little pendants that some of them had on there, and little pendants hanging down on ribbon, and I don't know all that stuff, but there was one that was very decorated. I do know that. There was one in green, a very dark, dark green, like the forest green. One was in dark blue. There was a couple of men in there with just straight on suits. And I felt like, I'm walking around the room and I'm trying to look at everyone. I feel like this one particular, the energy, and I'll say general because that's what he felt like to me. He was some type of general. And he was in a dark blue suit. I believe that's Air Force. And he was probably like almost 6 feet tall, because I remember when I was able to like look around at his facial structure, very military looking with the haircut and all of that. And he, had the eyebrows kind of, intense, and I could not see anything, but he had that energy about him, about being that kind of a general, and he talked a lot, whereas some of the other ones didn't. I didn't hear him say anything. There was a lot of back and forth. Again, I only hear things telepathically when I go like that, so I didn't feel like I was hearing the voices necessarily. It's so interesting because I feel like they were talking telepathically, but then there was also audio where it's like I'm thinking this, which of course anyone around a galactic knows. You just your thoughts are theirs. They read your mind. So having that, whatever they were thinking and being what they're saying, needed to match up. So it was kind of this both thing happening. And I probably could recognize a picture of this man if I saw him in particular, because I was really trying to at least study one of them. And I was really close to him. I mean, like coming around the back of his shoulder and kind of like trying to look up at him without, interfering. And all of a sudden, I can't tell you how long I was in there. I don't even know. I lose track of time. Then boom, I am standing outside of this like mirage bubble, and I can see my own reflection, and I'm going, and it had almost a silvery look to it. I'm going, well, I got kicked out of there. So then I get this, intense heat just coming through my body. My mouth was watering like I was going to throw up. I have never experienced this before. And I'm really trying to process this intense heat. And when I got home, I had the chills. Bad. And it wasn't one of those really cold nights. I just was, my teeth were chattering. I was so cold. Anyone who knows me, that's just not me. But that heat and then that super cold, I felt like they were, doing something to my body. I don't think I would say payback, but I might have been in there a little bit too long. And I, again, don't know time. And I've done this before, so I don't know what my restrictions, my limitations, even if I have any, I don't know. So I just go and try to do whatever I can. So that was just a really interesting one. I don't know what that means. When I'm looking around the room and I'm trying to place the walls, and there was no natural product. This was literally like 4 walls of a room, and it was a pretty decent size. It was probably 15 by 12 by 15, and I would say all in total everybody was standing up, and there was no table in there. There was some chairs along the back wall of one of the walls, and there was a stand or something to my left on that wall. But other than that, there was no sit down kind of meeting table at all. Everyone was standing. The floor was kind of funky now that I'm thinking about it, because I remember looking down. It wasn't carpet. It wasn't cement. It was actually a little bit good, squishy. So I'm not sure what that was. Yeah. So I want to tell it so I can get it out there and remember it. And I think I'm already forgetting some elements of it because I waited too long to get this out there. So, it's interesting that these things are happening more and more. And actually that next morning, in my meditation, I was dropping in, and I've never seen these galactics before, and nothing that when I try to look them up, nothing looks like what I've seen. And they're just cool. And I like one in particular was writing down in a big notebook, and I popped right in front of him, and he looked up at me and he nodded, and I remember nodding back going, okay, there's that one. And then boom, I was going again. And I'm going, why am I meeting all of these different types of beings? And I don't know, nothing's being said. They're okay with me popping in. It was just really interesting. So that I had that experience that morning too. And then trying to describe them. I wish I could draw. Man, I wish I could draw. Or had some fantastic movie or I don't even think photography would necessarily. I don't know how to create it. That's all. I don't know how to really say this is exactly, what it had like a, I would say a snout, but it had a spiral on the front of it. And then it had kind of a thicker skin, but it was hairy. The rest of it was hairy. So it's just so bizarre and fun and interesting and, all those things. So we'll see what happens going forward. Interesting times for sure. So, all right. Talk to you later. Bye.